Hey, what's up, y'all? Back with another video. Progressive perspective. So, Neil deGrasse Tyson, roast MAGA Moron Patrick bet David. I think, if I'm not, I think I saw part of this, y'all, so I ain't gonna hold you. I think I know a little bit about this. I think this is when he was talking to him about the COVID vaccine. Remember that time? That was a really tough time. Very tough time. Anyways, but let's go. Hop right into it, no time to waste.
We don't even know if the vaccine worked or not at the time.
Yes, that's what the trials are, dude.
It already started somewhere stupid. We don't even know if the vaccine worked at the time. You know, COVID really showed us that we're not ready for any major disease. So let's pray that nothing transcends from something much worse than what that was, because it was so many morons. But it showed you, like, I'm not saying morons, but like it showed you that we're entering into an area where intellectual thought is being challenged. Like, people who are experts are being challenged on expertise, and it's just getting weird. It's getting weird. You had smart people challenging them. Like, so that's what I'm saying. I can't say idiots, because there was some smart people that were challenging it. I'm like, oh shit. But you see how Neil deGrasse Tyson destroys this.
Why these trials? What, are you missing data out there?
Neil deGrasse Tyson joined Patrick Bet David on his program to talk about the vaccine and the vaccine mandate. Patrick Bet David's coming at it from a sort of, you know, America's the country of the free. They shouldn't have made us take a vaccine. It wasn't tested enough. And Neil deGrasse Tyson comes at it from the perspective of a scientist. He's not a virologist, right? He's an astrophysicist. But I thought this was, and this is a year old, right? This is from a year ago. But I think one of the things I really like about it and why I want to share it with you is it's a really clear example of someone, Neil deGrasse Tyson in this case, speaking rationally about a complicated, complex issue to which there weren't any clear, easy answers, in rebuttal to a conservative viewpoint, Patrick Bet David, who is sort of repeating these assertions that aren't always grounded in the facts and sometimes not even in common sense. So I'm going to try and restrain myself from talking over it too much, because I think Neil deGrasse Tyson does a great job of it himself. Then I want to know what you think in the comments, but let's get into it.
From what we knew at the beginning of COVID to what we know today, what do we know about the vaccine today that we didn't know while we were all testing it in America, taking it? What have we learned now?
What do you mean testing it on America? There were tests before it was released.
9 months is not a long time to test.
No, but it was tested.
Yeah, but 9 months, the average is 30. The average is 5 to 10 years. I mean, 9 months is not enough.
Okay, so you have to
test.
No, you have to ask. Hold on. It was tested in trials. Okay. By the way, I'm not claiming to be the expert on all this. I read all the same things you have, but I'm a scientist, so I read it as a scientist. Okay. They were trials. That's what the point of phase 1, 2, 3 trials are all about. They are tested enough to get data on how to then advise the larger population. Yes, it was tested. For you to say it wasn't tested is a gap between your awareness and understanding how things work and what actually happened. It was tested. If you want it to be tested on millions of people instead of thousands, you can put in for that. You can say, I don't want this unless it's millions. That's okay.
Totally fine.
So, I mean, just to encapsulate that point, which I think is really good.
Damn, it's a reaction video to a reaction video. God damn. But he's gonna, like, the dude that's commenting is making good points too, though. Like, he's making good points too. The conservative argument a lot of times finds small gaps in things that are like, oh, so like, okay, for example, the virus came so quickly and it spread so fast that when the time came to test the virus, and I remember this because even like when they did the first test, Joe Biden said it could get rid of it. And it could. The first test they did could get rid of it, right? But then the strand strengthened. Like, for some reason it strengthened. And so they had to retest it again because it strengthened. I remember all this. I was studying all this shit at the time to figure out what was going on. And when it strengthened, then people were still getting sick, and it's like, oh, the vaccine's not helping. So what Biden said, fuck them. People were like, oh yeah, this motherfucker's talking about it cures it all the way. But no, it just strengthened for some fucking reason. So they had to redo the trials again, and they redid the trials again, and they found another vaccine. That's why they offer another vaccine to the public. But everybody's like, they're giving us like 4 or 5 vaccines. Yeah. I just remember studying it. That's why I was familiar with everything that was going on purpose, because at the time I was talking to a girl who was working in the hospital. And she kept having all these mandates and all these like these paperworks and things that she could say and talk about, and like it was just like damn, like, but she also was getting day-to-day studies on what was going on. So I was sitting there like, oh, okay, so this is what it's doing, or that's what it's doing. And then I'm listening to the public. I'm like, oh, these dumbasses don't even know what they're talking about. Like, and they're literally giving you what they're doing. They're like, okay, this is what's going on. So it was kind of crazy, but let's hear what this guy got to say.
First thing Patrick Bet David asserted was it wasn't tested. And Neil deGrasse Tyson said, yes, it was. And then his immediate follow-up, well, it wasn't tested enough, right? And I think this is very common from the right. It's like...
It is.
Mistruth. You go, well, that's not accurate. Okay, well, you know, semi-truth.
I mean, okay. I'm okay with that.
So, based on that, do you say, let's keep testing it while the virus keeps spreading? Okay, right. So this is the contest between the information you have available to you at that moment and what's going on outside the lab.
Right. Facts.
People are dying.
Facts.
Hospitals are becoming overloaded. So, do you say we have good data on the 1,000? It's not yet at 1 million. In case you wanted 1 million, are you going to say let's still do it on another? Let's wait another 6 months so we get another 1 million in here? Will you do that as a public health professional?
No, I would have said allow the individual to still have a choice that's okay with 1,000 instead of a few million. Leave the person have the choice, not force him to take it or else you're going to get out of the Marines, and you've been doing this for 14 years. Not force him to take it or else you have to quit your job as a nurse.
There's a public health
force versus
there's a
choice.
There's a public health contract that you have signed implicitly as a citizen of a country where in part we depend on each other for health, our wealth, our security, and the like. And that contract is, in the best scientific evidence available at the time, if you do not get vaccinated, you will put other people in this organization at risk, and that organization does not want to take that risk. So you do not have this job anymore if you decline it. So with any public health decision, there has to be a consequence to you not participating in that social contract. Is it your job? In some cases it was. But no, we're not going to have the army bust into your home and force a needle into your shoulder. That's not going to happen.
We pretty much did that.
Well, only put your job at risk, yes.
Yeah, 67% of Americans took to COVID. That's force. That's not a choice. That's a lot of force and coercing and pushing going on. But let me... Whoa.
Yeah, like, he's pausing in the same places I went to every time this dude started talking. Did he not just hear anything the fuck Neil deGrasse Tyson just said? If there's a pandemic going on, and this is the part I didn't understand when people were like acting, like this is the thing I don't understand about this country, right? I love my country, I do. But if you know there's a virus that's going around killing certain kinds of people, and you don't know whether or not you're infected or not, wouldn't that make sense for you either to take the vaccine or don't show up to work to possibly infect other people? An area where I work at, it's a lot of older people. So like it's like a lot of older people were dying more from the vaccine. People with respiratory issues were dying more from the virus. A lot of people like with respiratory issues were dying from the virus. So with that being said, like, listen to what he's saying. You have a social contract within living in this country that if there is something spreading across the country and people are like, look, we don't want our people to get infected by this virus, so you no longer have your job no more. That sounds pretty fair. If you really think about it, if you're really patriotic, you would have took the vaccine, like, and been like, okay, cool, just to make sure my fellow Americans are safe. But I mean, all across the world, it was people having a problem with it. But in other countries, there was a higher rate of people taking it because more people, I think, believed in the patriotism of their country than fucking we did in ours. And we, at a certain point, we were doing worse than China because of how many people were like, fuck that. Remember all those people that were saying, fuck the vaccine and went down to Florida and tried to fucking like, and then all the people down there got infected. Like, it was crazy. Anyways, let's keep going. Let's see what this dude say.
What data, right? I took the vaccine. wasn't reluctant. I didn't want, I don't know. They didn't force 2/3 of America to take it. I don't know what the numbers actually are, but I, as somebody who voluntarily took it, wasn't forced. You can't just say just because 67% of the people took it, that was all coerced.
That's you can't go to the school unless you're vaccinated against mumps.
I think that's bullshit.
That's a different country.
Yeah, but
okay, what you want a country?
No, America is supposed to be the one that offers the most freedom. That's what America is supposed to be.
Okay, so watch.
So for example, if you use that argument, somebody may say, well, freedom of choice. I want to choose what.
And nobody is noticing. Keep in mind, Patrick he's a very wealthy man. He's worth $100 million. I read some of his books. He's a very intelligent man, right? Keep in mind, he has a lot of money. He didn't have to participate in it at all anyway, right? But it's just so interesting. Like no one said you had to take it. It's just if you don't, these are the consequences of not doing it because of all this, right? And they spread it out to you. I remember, I can't say too much, but people in companies were briefed on what was going on. A lot of upper management was briefed on what was going on. Like, that's what I know. I know that for a fact. And through the briefings of what was going on, it scared even upper management to the point where they were like, okay, we need to issue some policies and some rules in here. So, like, and I know that was in a lot of companies. There were a lot of people I was talking to from different places that were being informed about that. So to say people were forced, yeah, that is crazy. Most people weren't forced. Most people saw the danger in what was going on and said, okay, well, look, we don't know much about this, so let's protect other people. That 67% actually gives you somewhat fucking hope to some degree, because at least half the damn country realized, like, and then again, it doesn't, but at least over half the damn country realized that we need to protect other citizens here. Like, but, you know, the conservatives have a way of spinning shit, but let's hear it.
I want to do with the body. You're right.
What body?
If you want to get an abortion, it's your choice.
Your own body. Your own body.
If you want to get an abortion, get an abortion. If I want to get the vaccine, I get to choose. So you can't force. If I can't force you to get an abortion, you shouldn't be able to force me to get
Because it's not about you. It's about people you interact with, and that's the social contract of public health.
We don't even know if the vaccine worked or not at the time.
Yes, that's what the trials are, dude. That's why these trials. What, are you missing data?
But let me ask you a question. Are we saying only one type of scientists are right?
No, we're saying
what?
that the system in place.
The 16,000.
I don't think you guys caught that either. Are we saying that only one type of scientists are right? That's like saying, are we saying that only cops know the law? No shit they do. Like, you know what I'm saying? No shit. And there probably are people out there that know the law and challenge the law to some degree, but cops are supposed to know the law, right? Yeah, duh. Like, yeah, one type of scientist is supposed to be studying this so that we can get the information from that one type of scientist. That's why they're an expert. You see how, like, the anti-intellectualism going on here? He doesn't want to agree with the scientists that are saying that this is right, who are experts on the fucking topic. Like, what the fuck? That's like saying, like, a lawyer who specializes in business. Is that the only lawyer that can actually tell us something? No, but what the fuck? Why wouldn't you go to the one that can tell you about business if you're trying to do a business? Like, that's a dumb, dude. But, like, you know, the conservative arguments are easy to make sometimes, though. They really are, because they're kind of just challenging the void, which we do need. We do need that. We need people challenging the void. So, like, I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna back off a little bit on shit on them a little bit, because that's. Yeah, because you need people to challenge the void.
No. The system in place to test vaccines, there's an entire system that's in place. That with review boards and all of it, that's in place. Now what you can say is, I have a better idea than all these review boards and all these agencies and the CDC. I have a better idea. Here's what you should do, and that would have made everything better. Okay. You can put forth that idea. But what I'm saying is, in a case where you can contaminate someone else, it's not about you. It's about the collective
You're assuming.
health.
You're assuming because somebody can take the vaccine, won't get COVID, which, by the way, I don't need to play the clips for you to see it, where everybody said, hey, if you get it, you're not going to get, if you take the vaccine, you're not going to get a Rachel Maddow, Joe Biden. I can give you Fauci. I can give you, you've seen these clips before. It's not like you've never seen it before.
Yeah, what happened?
They were wrong.
Oh, wait. Listen closely, y'all. He about to say it.
The strain evolved.
See? What did I just say? Like, that's exactly what the strand evolved. And right when it evolved, they had to do retest because it evolved. I remember seeing this in the paperwork. So like, I was like, oh shit, okay. So I see now why when Biden said the first vaccine would have worked. I see it now. Listen to the experts. Listen to the people who are, oh my God, bro. Just keep playing. But he said it, the strand evolved, right? So if you guys think I was lying about earlier, the strand evolved. He just verified it for me.
Okay. So that the vaccine that prevented you from catching COVID
Facts.
was tuned to the variant of COVID at the time the vaccine was designed. Okay. Over time, there were variants that arose. Mm-hmm. The vaccine provided partial protection against the new variants, enough to keep you from dying statistically, and to basically keep you out of the hospital, allowing other people with more severe problems to get the hospital attention they required. And so then they would develop the booster and a subsequent mixture of the vaccine. This is what happens every year with a flu shot. They look at how the flu has evolved from one season to the next, and what's fortunate is Australia tends to get the variant of flu before we do, because they get their winter in our summer, and then so we study that, have a forward projection for it. So these annual flu shots are precisely out of the same idea of how this occurs.
How long have those been tested though? For years. COVID vaccine hasn't been tested for it. It was something we just came out. But
I don't know what point you're making, other than
he's missing everything he's saying. Like every year they test every year they test the flu variant. We are lucky because Australia, and this is another thing like I'm actually proud of to hear, how in unison we are with some other countries on that. Like that's actually good that we all are aligned in the planet on Earth to this degree, where it's like if something popped up like the Black Plague and we couldn't stop it, at least every country would be in one accord, where it's like, look, you can study it from here right now and we can learn from each other. That's beautiful to know. But he didn't listen to anything he just said. He didn't hear anything that Neil deGrasse Tyson just told him.
It was tested. You might
9 months is not enough.
You might prefer. No, it's not a matter of time. It's a matter of how many. Yes, time matters, but the number of people is paramount. That's the most important thing. Okay, you don't test it on 10 people. You test it on as many people as you can.
Sure.
I think it was thousands, but
is it fair to say that some of the side effects we may not know for 5, 10, 15, 20 years?
Imagine being able to build.
I'm gonna stop it right there, because he's going to it. Yeah, of course we're not gonna know for 5 to 10. Oh my God, dude! But that's not even a good argument when people are dying. Like, we got to get something started. We got to get something out to the public. Point blank. Period. Argue with me in the comments if y'all want to, because y'all complain a lot on YouTube. Y'all are the biggest. Some of y'all, not all y'all, some of y'all are the biggest fucking whiny ass people I've ever seen in my life. Oh, you're eating. Like, shut the fuck up and watch the video. Anyways, I'm out, y'all. Peace.